Good day, everyone.
I was born and raised in Detroit. Growing up there, I saw people like me running things.
This is a courtroom, not a circus, so we're gonna calm down.
I'm sorry.
What I found there was a passion that I didn't know existed.
This is the bottom line.
I'm excited to free fall into the limitless possibilities with we the people. So many are fearful of the law. They think it's something that works against them.
I think you need to begin to accept responsibility for your mistakes.
We are the people.
Whitley Tanner claims her Shih Tzu was left shivering and matted by a groomer, forcing her to leave the pet behind during a planned trip.
All rise.
Cheryl Ellison says the aggressive pet nipped at her staff, and she's countersuing for $400.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Tanner versus Ellison. Ms. Tanner, you are suing Ms. Ellison for $1,400 for negligence. And Ms. Ellison, you are countersuing Ms. Tanner for $400 in unpaid grooming costs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Plaintiffs, you say the defendant failed to properly groom your dog, and the defendant, you say that the plaintiff's dog made it impossible to conduct the grooming services.
That is true.
All right, Ms. Tanner, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about your dog.
So, my dog's name is Princess.
Okay.
I am a social media influencer.
Okay.
With the dog lifestyle.
All right.
And so.
And what kind of dog is Princess?
She's a Shih Tzu.
All righty, cute.
So, I was planning a trip to South Beach, Miami, and I wanted Princess to be all pampered up and looking great and well. And when I went to go drop her off at Lord of the Tails, is what
Our business is
Yep.
called.
It's called
Lord of the Tails.
Lord of the Tails. Okay.
So I dropped Princess off. They said, be back in 5 hours. And when I returned to get my dog, she was a mess. She was wet, she was shivering, her hair was all matted. It was incredible. It was incredible. I could not even believe it. So I had to cancel the flight for her, which was $400. And then I had to put her into a boarding hotel for 5 nights, and that was $1,000.
Wait a minute, this went really wrong. Now, take me back to where things went wrong. So it was a grooming service where you dropped her. Mm-hmm. So you dropped her off to be groomed.
Correct.
And what time were you supposed to pick her up?
They said 5 hours after, so I dropped her at 12 noon, and then when I picked her up, it was 5 o'clock.
And when you picked her up, she wasn't ready, she was actually shivering.
Correct. She was wet and shivering.
All right, Miss Ellison, what happened with Princess? Why wasn't she done during the time allotted when Miss Tanner came to pick her up?
We tried to groom Princess. We took every precaution. We tried to calm her. We used soft words. We tried to pet her, gave her
she was
treats.
agitated.
She was agitated. She was an aggressive dog. She did nip at me. She actually nipped at my employee. I have evidence of the marks that she left on both of us.
You submitted evidence to the court.
I did.
Miss Ellison, what were you trying to show me?
I was trying to show you my forearm that when Princess was...
Oh, I do see the scratches.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the hand is my employee that I ended up having to send home.
Oh, my goodness.
And still had to pay her for her time because it's not her fault that the dog was aggressive.
What do you think was agitating Princess?
I think that this is just an agitated dog. I did call the groomer.
Have you ever groomed her before?
No, her normal groomer is my friend, and I used to work there, and she helped me open up my shop. And when I called her to talk about Princess, she has a reputation of being agitated and nippy and aggressive and not really enjoying being groomed. And so when Miss Tanner called me and begged me to get her dog in, I was trying to do her a favor by squeezing her into my time slots. And we're a very, very, very popular salon. We're very busy. I held that spot for her. I had an employee for her. And I ended up losing my employee for the rest of the day. That spot could not be taken by another dog because I gave it to her. And when we tried to groom this dog, she was just too aggressive. I even tried to put gloves on, which makes it really hard to groom, but I was willing to do that and help calm the dog. The dog ended up grabbing the glove and just shaking in her head and was just very aggressive. Did you know
Princess really didn't love grooming, Miss Tanner?
Absolutely not. She is a sweetheart. She's an angel. And when I walked in to drop her off, they actually commented on how beautiful and how angelic she was. So I don't understand.
Looking?
No, just acting the way she was.
But she was with you?
She was with me,
okay.
Correct.
And so let me ask you this. What made you decide to go to a new place right now, someone she's never been with?
So the thing with that is it was so last minute. Well, the trip was last minute and I couldn't pass it up. So I called my original groomers, but they were all booked up.
Okay.
So I called Lord of the Tails and they were free and available. So that's why I took Princess there.
All right.
Coming up.
What would the motive be for Ms. Ellison and her staff not to finish your dog?
Well, when I walked in, they were booked. They looked so busy. So I'm pretty
Maybe because they're popular and they know what they're doing.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with a dispute between Whitley Tanner and Cheryl Ellison over a dog grooming mishap.
And so when you came back and Princess was not groomed and they explained to you what was going on with her, what happened?
I was just shocked because on their website, they say that they deal with aggressive dogs.
So you knew your dog was aggressive?
I'm not saying that my dog was aggressive at all. All I'm saying is that you guys should have been capable.
Let's testify to the court.
Lord of the Tails should have been capable to handle Princess. So.
But you do see the injuries that she and her staff suffered trying to groom and settle Princess down.
I do, but I don't believe that's Princess's.
So let me ask you this. If you're a first-time customer and they're in the business of grooming dogs, why would they not finish your dog and not have your dog groomed to perfection, especially when you're an influencer? Because all you would need to do is tag their shop in one of your posts and have Princess looking like a princess, and the next thing you know, they would get more business. What would the motive be for Ms. Ellison and her staff not to finish your dog?
Well, when I walked in, they were booked. They looked so busy. So I'm pretty
Maybe because they're popular and they know what they're doing.
Yes, but I think they overbooked it because when I called and scheduled the appointment, they knew who Princess was. They know the dynamic duo.
So let me ask you this. If you feel like they overbooked, which I do understand, that happens sometimes, or worst case as well, someone else is late at a prior appointment, then it pushes them back and it pushes your dog back. When you got there, did you say, hey, she's not done, but I have to have her done now. Can someone finish her right now?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not, because I didn't have time. I had to go.
So what did you do?
I had to go pack. I had to go get my hair done, my nails done. I had to get ready for the trip.
And so what did you do with Princess?
So instead, afterwards, I had to take Princess to the boarding hotel.
All right, and that is what's presented in your evidence that I saw, which are the costs of the doggy hotel.
Correct.
Which totals how much?
$1,000.
So $1,000 for the doggy hotel. Oh, here Princess is.
Yeah.
You know those little dogs can be feisty.
They can, but
I'm a big dog person. I have a black shepherd named King T'Challa, and he's a big old thing. But these little cute angelic looking dogs, they bark more than he does. And it's funny because when we're walking him, these little dogs, they bark at him more, probably because they sense fear. But they have feisty barks. Such a cutie. So $1,000 you had to pay to a doggy hotel. What's the other $400?
the $400 was for the flight.
The flight, because you couldn't go on the trip then.
I couldn't.
And because the whole influencing pictures wouldn't have looked right without Princess, because it's supposed to be dog content.
Exactly, and that's our brand.
And
She's
she
my
wasn't
dynamic.
ready.
Yep, exactly.
But you didn't ask them to, hey, could you maybe finish her while I'm here? Because then maybe I could sit with her and then we could get her done.
She said that she wasn't able to. She said that she already sent
Your
one
Honor.
of her. She already sent one of her employees home, and they couldn't because they were still booked.
All right, so you did ask them, could they finish her?
I did.
All right, so Miss Ellison, did she ask that?
She did not. She was so irate. She would not let us speak. I actually brought that employee in. The reason she had a noon appointment opposed to a morning appointment is usually when I book pets to be brought in to be groomed. I gave her a noon because that's when I could get a second employee to come in and help and make sure her dog was well groomed. On top of that, we called her several times throughout the day and she ignored our phone calls.
Oh, did you leave her a voice message?
I did. And when she came in, she was so upset at the presence of her dog. We dried her off, but it is true, when you have a Maltese or a Shih Tzu, if you don't brush their hair immediately, they will mat.
Yeah.
That is a thing. We did want her cold, so we actually did wrap her in a towel, try and dry her off to try and keep us safe, as well, but there was no way we could get a comb next to her. And if she would have asked, our standard practice is if we have a dog that is aggressive and it comes in and we know it, we usually do ask the owner to stay to help keep the dog calm.
How much was the service?
$400.
All right.
Which is, all I'm asking is her to pay that service, not for the employee I had to send home, not for any kind of...
But wouldn't the payment of the $400 include the fee to the employee that had to be sent home?
Yes, but she didn't pay at all. She hasn't given me anything.
All right, not a deposit or anything.
Yes, and also she did go on that trip. It wasn't, the dog didn't go, which she could have taken the dog with her and had her groomed over in South Beach if she chose to, but instead she chose.
Oh, you left Princess at the doggy hotel, Miss Tanner, and you still went on the trip.
Oh, correct, yes.
Oh, I thought your testimony was that the whole trip was ruined.
Oh, no. I mean, technically it was because I didn't have my dog with me, and I make money with my dog. That's our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So without her on that trip, I didn't make anything.
Coming up,
Because there were other things you could have done.
I was too busy.
Exactly. Now we can all go to lunch because Miss Tanner basically just explained what was going on.
you're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with a dispute between Whitley Tanner and Cheryl Ellison over a dog grooming mishap.
Do you have a picture, Miss Tanner, of the condition the grooming was when you is this her when you picked her up?
Yes.
She's clean but not brushed through.
Exactly, and she's still a bit wet.
Yeah. All right. I've heard enough. It's clear to this court, though, with the evidence that has been presented, that Princess was pretty upset and was biting and scratching, and no service provider has to be injured in order to be able to provide a service, right? You can't expect them to finish it if they feel like they're getting bitten, especially along the hands. That's what they use to groom dogs. So if they get hurt, now their livelihood is destroyed. The reason why I asked you when you came in, did you say, well, if she sits on my lap, could you finish? Because I really need to go. You could have maybe gotten a later flight or flown out the next morning or just had them at least comb her out where she could be presentable. I'm looking for ways in which you may have mitigated this circumstance. When you're suing for negligence, I've got to be able to see where Miss Ellison and her team failed to give the duty of care, right, that a reasonable service provider would in that situation. You have not shown me that, because what they basically said is we were trying to get her serviced, but she would not allow us to do it. And then when we called over and over to let you know what was going on, you didn't respond. Now, you were probably getting busy and ready and packing and getting ready for your trip, but they made the effort to call.
Coming up,
Nothing wrong with it, honey. Everybody's got to hustle a time or 2 or 10. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to hustle.
You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with a dispute between Whitley Tanner and Cheryl Ellison over a dog grooming mishap.
They were calling you, but you didn't answer.
So they actually called me on she called me on her personal cell phone. I don't answer any unknown numbers.
But she left you a message. So I don't answer unknown numbers either, but when they leave the voicemail, then I listen. And I especially, when I'm leaving my dog or somebody somewhere where it's not a number I'm familiar with, I'm definitely checking every voicemail, even if I don't answer the phone number. So you got the wrong one on that. I do the same thing, but there is a way, again, to mitigate these circumstances, to be responsible. What would a reasonable person who has left their dog somewhere for 5 hours do? Did they check? Did you check? Did you check your voicemails? Is Princess ready? Did they leave me a message to say she's ready to go? In this situation, it wasn't Miss Ellison that didn't act reasonably. It was actually you. You did not act like a reasonable, responsible dog owner in that circumstance, but you also put yourself in a position where you didn't have your dog for your trip because there were other things you could have done.
I was too busy.
Exactly. Now we can all go to lunch because Ms. Tanner basically just explained what was going on.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns. You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake.
You were just too busy. You took a last-minute gig. You were spinning all around town trying to get yourself together to make the money, and there's nothing wrong with it, honey. Everybody's got to hustle a time or 2 or 10. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to hustle. But at the end of the day, you went to a new groomer. They called you to tell you the dog was cutting up. You were too busy to answer the call. You came later. The dog wasn't done. You snatched the dog up, threw her in a dog hotel, and got on the plane. So that tells me Princess's grooming wasn't really all that important anyway. It wasn't integral to the job. So your case is dismissed in judgment for the defendant for the $400 for the entire session that they were there with Princess and did not get to groom her because you didn't answer the calls for help, and when you came in, you didn't give them the opportunity to mitigate. Judgment for the defendant for $400. The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff is ordered to pay $400.
Princess should have won.
I'm just glad the judge is an animal person and understands the level of love and care that we provide and when the dog wasn't actually a priority. So I support that judgment, and I'm glad I have the money to pay my employee now.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.